Here it is. Now they're trying to do damage control, which is crazy because while they're trying to do damage control, they're simultaneously doing more damage, which they will inevitably have to do damage control over. So think about that. As we are having this conversation, Israel is rolling its fucking tanks in the center of Rafah, the last remaining humanitarian safe zone. They're moving tanks into. That is how it always works. We didn't do it. It was a misfired rocket. Okay, we did it. This is an accident. But, you know, maybe you should stop paying attention to us. Yeah, it wasn't a safe zone, but it was a safe zone. Turns out it's not a safe zone any longer. They're literally fucking putting people into safe zones, which are not really safe zones anyway, because there's a proper legal designation for it. Meanwhile, here's what America's doing. The pier built by the U.S. military to leave aid to Gaza broke apart after not a single ounce of aid was delivered, by the way. Oh my God, bro. It is so bad. It's so fucking bad. Every fucking time, dude.
Despite our efforts to minimize civilian casualties during the strike, the fire that broke out was unexpected and unintended. This is a devastating incident which we did not expect. We're investigating what caused the fire.
What are we doing? Why are we trying to do a Al Ahly literally fucking months after like, what are they doing? I really, really personally thought that we were over this. You know what I mean? We were done. We were done with this because they did this so many fucking times. Is this going to be another fucking OSINT cycle? Is that what's happening? 36,000 deaths so far. And we're still having this convo? Like, this is the same exact fucking convo after Al Ahly. Try to fucking misinform. Just circulate as much misinformation as possible to reorient the discourse directly back to, well, maybe it's Hamas's fault, actually. Let's, for a brief moment, suspend our disbelief and forget that Israel has lied in this exact same way a million times over. Like, what is the attitude here? What is the fucking, what are we listening to? What are we supposed to think?
That resulted in this tragic loss of life. The investigation is ongoing. I will now share the facts that we've gathered so far. As you can see, in our air surveillance from the time of the strike, we targeted a closed structure away from tent area. As you can see, there are no tents in the immediate vicinity of the structure that we targeted. Contrary to reports, we conducted the strike outside the area that we designated as a...
Yeah, they literally said, we're sorry, by the way. They said, we didn't strike them. And then they said, oops, we did, and we're sorry. And now they're saying, oops, we didn't, we're not sorry. Why do people keep believing these shits? A couple different reasons. One, we submit to authority because the Western mind is particularly predisposed to being cucked to power. We love being servile. We love submitting to authority. So that's number one. This is an organ of a well-established democratic government that is within the confines of American hegemonic power. So of course, we fucking see that and we go, oh, my lord, well, that's some good guy. Other leaders have told me he's a good guy, my lord, so I believe him. Right? So that's number one. The other reason is because a lot of people don't give a fuck about who they're killing. So they desperately want to not feel bad about all the death and destruction Israel is causing. So they're desperately looking for any kind of thing that they can grab onto to be like, no, they were asking for it, please.
From the El Muasi humanitarian area, what we call the safer zone.
Bro, first of all, the safer zone. Remember, they call it the safer zone and not a safe zone. Why do they call it the safer zone and not a safe zone, you might ask? That is because a safe zone is a legal designation, and they do not have the interest in providing safety in the safe zone. So they try to say, oh, it's a safer zone, as in it's safer than the other zone that we're blowing up. But that doesn't mean you'll be safe there either. And you won't get running water. You won't get like, you won't get drinkable water, for example. Like in a safe zone, you're supposed to provide the civilians water, electricity, certain amenities, certain things for survival. And of course, a guarantee that they will not blow you up. So they go, safer zone. They play fast and loose with this narrative.
Our aerial surveillance was filming prior to the strike in order to minimize civilian harm. Here is the footage from our strike of the specific structure
Yeah, no other strikes happened, by the way, just that.
commanders were meeting.
Remember, going back to Al Ahly, what did Israel do after Al Ahly? They immediately said we were not operating in the area. That was a lie. They lied. Then they came out with a phone conversation that was also immediately disproven to be truthful. It was also a lie. Then they went back on it and were like, okay, just kidding. It wasn't it was actually a misfire. It was a misfire rocket, okay, that blew up. Meanwhile, Os and Andes were fucking running around, literally coming up with the dumbest fucking theories. Like, oh, this was actually an intercepted rocket that fell on the hospital. Made no goddamn sense. But it didn't matter. Everybody went along with it. Everybody went along with it for days. How am I to believe Israel ever again? How am I supposed to look at this critically and go, let me take what they're saying seriously? Even if I did not have, many years of covering this conflict and covering many different iterations of these sieges and this ethnic cleansing, which I do, if I was looking at this with fresh eyes, there is no fucking way that I can trust what the fucking Israeli government is saying. That level of skepticism is genuinely healthy, for the record, and you should exercise that for America as well, as I do, as you know. For example, America, when we're doing our many different invasions and occupations and whatnot, we will routinely lie about this shit too. We did this. We did this not that long ago under the Brandon administration when we were leaving Kabul.
The strike was conducted using 2 munitions with small warheads suited for this targeted strike. We're talking about munition with 17 kilos of explosive material. This is the smallest munition that our jets can use. Following this strike, a large fire ignited for reasons that are still being investigated. Our munition alone could not have ignited a fire of this size. I want to repeat it. Our munition alone could not have ignited a fire of this size. Our investigation seeks to determine what may have caused such a large fire to ignite. We are looking into all possibilities, including the option that weapons stored in a compound next to our target, which we did not know of, may have ignited.
Man, it's crazy. It's always, anytime the Western world gives a shit about Israel's misconduct during its normal process of ethnic cleansing, it's always Hamas. And what is really indecent about this is that the media will report it as fact without conducting any investigation whatsoever. That is gross, dude. Makes us even more culpable in this, by the way. That makes Western media even more culpable in this ethnic cleansing campaign. It's every single time. And here's how you know it's fucking bullshit too, by the way. Okay? I don't know if this particular instance, there's any veracity to what they're saying, but it's ridiculous for me to immediately not be skeptical, especially considering that in every single fucking circumstance since October 7, when the Western world goes, oh shit, that's a bridge too far for us, not the 36,000, but this instance, that's a little bit too cruel for us. Oh, it must have been Hamas. You have to remember something important here. They only do this when people care. They only do this when people actually do pay attention to one specific atrocity. So of course they have to do counter propaganda by muddying the waters, and the media will fucking willingly go along with it without conducting their own investigations into the matter.
We are working to verify the cause of the fire. It is still too early to be determined.
Yeah, bro, I believe it. Well, I'm convinced. I'm the dumbest person you've ever met. And it surely seems like it surely doesn't seem like far too convenient. I've never paid attention to anything before, and I will not pay attention to anything after.